The most common advice you ever hear as a streamer is you need... Sorry about this.
Hey LJ, loving the stream, my dog just died. Will you play some Justin Bieber to cheer me up?
That's copyrighted. What was I saying? Right, yeah, the most common advice you will ever hear as a streamer is you need to stop... Okay, Jesus, okay, here we go.
Hey LJ, loving the stream,
right,
but I can't believe you didn't play the song I wanted.
It was copyrighted.
Please LJ, another one of my dogs just died right now, please, please, please.
That's it, okay? Twitch alerts are ruining your stream, and not just Twitch alerts, but actually the incredibly common advice of you need to stand out is ruining it as well. Yeah, sure, Twitch is too competitive. If you just sit there and play games, nobody will ever discover you. They'll never watch you because there's so much amazing content out there already. You will waste your time. Well, yeah, it's true. But what if all those attempts to stand out and be unique, all the overlays, the fancy effects, the chat control channel points, and of course, text to speech, what if they are actually hurting your growth, hurting your content, and hurting your stream? I think recently small streamers have been led astray, following a trend that is a race to the bottom, focusing on things that don't actually help you grow. I will cover all of that, as you can see from the time codes I've put in the description and the top comment. But first, I need to calm down, and we have a very special guest here today.
Oh, hello there. I'm Owen Owned, founder and, well, just a pretty well-round guy over at Own.tv. I founded Owned back in 1200 BC when one of the very first streamers ever went live, William Shakespeare, or as I call him, Bill. We've made overlays for all types of streamers, all the greats. We've got Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin, will.i.am. Oh, we've also made some for some terrible streamers, you know. I knew this one dickhead, LJ. These days, we make high quality overlays that are completely modular and customizable for you guys. That's right. If you want to make sure that your PC has more resources, you can use one of the static ones, or a fully animated one, and delete all the things you don't want to use. It's fantastic. Don't believe me? Just look at them all. Oh, those are brilliant. Oh, I like that one. Oh, that's a good one over there. You know what? I'll say it right now. I actually think these are brilliant. So come on down to our store.
It's a website.
It's a website, is it? Come on down to our website, the link in the description. I hear it really helps LJ out. Hello.
Thanks, Owen. Let's get back to it. Small streamers, or really almost all streamers, are often desperate to stand out. We work so hard to create engaging, unique, and interesting streams that will keep people watching. Because the nature of internet content, and really Twitch, is that the moment people slightly lose interest, well, they'll click away, like you did during that ad read. In fact, we get told almost every day we need to be more unique to stand out and actually grow. And if we don't work to stand out, we're making lazy content. Heck, this is advice that I've given out as well. I'm making fun of myself, but I do stand by it to an extent. You see, one of the ways to stand out, and probably the most common, has always been giving viewers the ability to interact with your stream. This works because this is why people watch live streams, to interact with you either in the chat or with Twitch alerts. They could be follower alerts, subscriber, raid, donations, or really anything you want. These alerts started out as a small sound effect, maybe a little GIF, and it wasn't too intrusive. That was all it was. Hey, thanks Bootyman69 for becoming a member of the channel. It really helps us out. I like your name has 2 Y's in it as well. But over time, streamers learned that they could encourage viewers to support more and engage with their stream for longer by making their alerts more unique, larger, funnier, and sometimes more distracting, depending, of course, on how much the user is willing to support. Wink. I have to say wink because otherwise I can't wink. Legitimately, I can't wink unless I say the word wink. I'm guilty of this too, such as my own alerts where 169 bits is a quick meme from my stream that is only 3 seconds, but then the upper end of the bits, 1000 bits, is Gilbert Godfrey reading out a list of words that make people incredibly uncomfortable. Like this one. Moist! Something to note, I made this alert, and well, a few weeks later Gilbert passed away. So I removed that alert and had one made for Queen Elizabeth, and well, we all know how that turned out. Two creators who take this to the next level are What If Julia, who has amazing alerts for different amounts of bits, but also at different amounts of gifted subs as well. And another streamer is Barjo, who is classified in my head as the most interactive stream on Twitch, with thousands of alert scenes for different effects, for different prices, and it's not like it's just the same effect at every price. For example, he could have 3-4 different variations of one type of joke or one type of alert, so it's never the same thing.
No, I nearly cried. I was emotional at the end. Subscription.
It doesn't stop at alerts though. The rise of streamer education channels, like my own, have led to a lot of creators integrating soundboards they can use to add comedic effects while live, voice changes to add emphasis and echo. Or going the extra mile and creating larger effects such as overlays that can be activated like I did by having math fly across the screen like this, or taking it even further like someone who I respect and admire, Nutty, who has integrated dozens of amazing effects to be controlled by bits and channel points. I consider these more than simple alerts. They allow viewers to really take control of the stream. The most unique way I have seen creators stand out though, well, that has to be creators like Reaps, who built an entire CGI set with digital camera movements as if he's hosting a late night talk show, or creators who build entire personas or a character with costumes such as Dr. Disrespect or Granny. That is so much effort to go to, and it's incredibly admirable. And because that's so hard, that's the reason why most people instead fall into the easiest and also one of the most common ways to stand out, which is finding a single mode and sticking to it. Such as always being the hyper switched on YouTuber personality like David Dobrik. Oh my god, I'm living a totally normal life, but I'm aggressively positive and always going and non-stop. Or maybe they'll copy Mr. Beast and offer $5,000 to make someone eat a tire. It's not all hyper switched on though. Sometimes people just go into the one mode of always being the angry rage gamer. And when I say this is common, I really mean it. New creators take their personality, pick one aspect of it, create a 2D persona around it, and then they become very flat people very quickly. Look, what I'm trying to say, likely badly, is there are hundreds of ways to make yourself unique, and they can do a ginormous amount to help you grow. But the question I want to pose to you, small creator who has spent hours adding all of these things to your stream, is it helping or is it hurting you? When we take a second to look at larger creators in the space, the majority don't spend their time and energy trying to be unique using any of the things I just mentioned. In fact, many of them hate or even actively make fun of this stuff. Let's talk examples. If we're starting at the basics, let's look at PewDiePie and Jacksepticeye and what they had to say in a video recently about the YouTube mode or YouTuber personas a lot of new creators try and mimic, such as I said, David Dobrik or Mr. Beast.
Oh, see, it's fun in the beginning because it's like, oh, charismatic, like energetic, happy people. And then 100 videos in, you're like, oh, they're always like this.
Oh, wow.
Humans aren't meant to exist like this.
There's no other nuance to your personality. Oh, wow. That's so cool.
Wow. Everything you've told me is just a lie.
And I have to agree with this. Finding a creator who is so switched on is fun at first, but very quickly becomes flat and boring. Because often they focus so heavily on just being energized that if they weren't energetic, well, the content kind of ends up being crap. People are just there because the energy feels good at first, but they leave quickly when they realize there's no nuance to it. Obviously, if it's just who you are, then that's fine, but if you're putting it on, well, can you maintain that for years and years, keeping it interesting? Another great example is when asked advice on how to be a streamer, Limmy, who is an incredibly hilarious, handsome, and talented comedian, said the following.
Limmy, I'm going to do my first stream in the new year. Any tips for a newbie? Don't bother with any fucking gimmicks. Just see this? See just this? Just sitting there like that, yapping away, is more than enough.
While this might seem odd at first, I think it makes a strange amount of sense. If you spend all your time and energy on gimmicks, but your core content, your jokes, your conversation, whatever it is, if that is boring, you won't see success. Can you spread glitter on a turd and call it beautiful? Maybe, depends what you're into, I guess. So does all this mean you should go through and remove all those sound effects, ditch the outfits, cut out the alerts, ditch the effects, voices, overlays, and everything to just have a normal stream? No, not at all. That's not what I'm saying. But you need to ask yourself one important question. If you had none of these things, Would people still enjoy your stream for your core content? And what even is your core content? Comment it down below, I'd love to find out. I found myself sitting there after a stream last year asking myself this question and feeling like a failure. Essentially, I had a birthday stream where I created a big wooden wheel, and every 5 subs the wheel would spin, and then we would do the punishment that the wheel landed on. I ended that stream with over 120 subs gifted to me, and to a lot of you guys watching, that is a success. But to me, that stream felt like a massive failure. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't because of the sub count. You see, I had spent so much time on that wheel, getting different items, gross foods, outfits, and so many other things ready. So much time spent on this gimmick that I had forgotten I needed good core content to do in between the spins. My community still enjoyed that stream, and honestly, they'll probably disagree with everything I'm saying here, but I didn't feel like the content was good because, well, to me, there was no content. Just this gimmick followed by awkward downtime of me chatting between spins till someone got bored enough of me to drop 5 subs to make me shut up and do another punishment. I eventually did move on to Surgeon Simulator, which is a different segment I had planned that still involved the wheel, and it was way better. But I had still failed the start of the stream, and even though I did fail, it meant that I'd learned a lot from that stream. Now, every time I plan a stream that has some sort of gimmick like that, I first plan out the entire core content. I ask, why would someone want to watch this stream if there was no gimmick? And if I can't find a reason, well, that is likely a bad stream idea. This isn't solely for events though. Almost every single way to be unique and stand out that I mentioned to you earlier has the ability to make your stream hilarious, engaging, and amazing. They can essentially support your core content, lift it up to be better, but of course, it can also ruin your stream and distract from the core content. One of the most common examples, and let me know in the comments if you've ever seen this, you're sat there watching a stream. The streamer has been live for 6 hours trying to defeat the same Elden Ring boss. They're getting better, but they've died over and over and over again. It is honestly epic. You've been there the entire time. It's exciting, dramatic. There are so many intense moments in the stream. And finally, at the end of it all, this happens.
Hey LJ, another donation, another dead dog. Please play Despacito. Please, please, please.
And that sort of ruins the moment, doesn't it? Maybe it makes it better for some, but for me, the streamer who was there for 6 hours, that sort of ruins the moment. But it isn't just alerts. As we said, with the rise of channel point integration and a need to stand out as a smaller creator, well, we have things where viewers can activate entire scene changes or turn on voice changes for you. Again, does this mean you should turn all of your alerts off? Should you turn off all of your channel point integration? Of course not. I have to keep saying this because I know you'll misconstrue me, but I'm just trying to explain that if you're going to add anything to your stream, you need to think about how it adds to your core content and what your appeal to your audience actually is. Don't just add it in hopes it will appeal to random viewers and they'll stick around. For example, when I started, I was using supporter bars, but these days, I don't use supporter bars on my stream anymore because I think it's just extra clutter that can hide important parts of the gameplay or the stream. And if I was using supporter bars, I think it would be much harder to edit my streams into videos or TikToks, which is my current major goal for streaming. And actually, that's a really big point, which I will cover soon. But first, sometimes I feel like adding all of these effects, alerts, and gimmicks to our streams shows a lack of confidence in our content. Like, we don't believe that we are good enough as entertainers and creators to truly keep someone engaged with just our jokes and stories and commentary. I think it's similar to when you tell a joke in a group of people, but nobody laughs. I'm sure we can all relate to this. It happens to me daily, pretty much. There is this moment of silence, and then out of sheer embarrassment, sheer fear, you have to decide, am I going to move on, or am I going to try explain the joke in detail? So of course you explain the joke in detail. It's not because you're overcompensating, it's because they clearly didn't understand what was funny about it, and so you have to explain what the joke... Dude, don't cut me off! Which is something that plagues new creators when they're trying to create video content. They often over-edit because they're worried the jokes won't land or they aren't funny enough as is. I did this too. We all add way too many sound effects, memes, or just intensely shortening every single clip down to keep that pacing nice and fast and not hurt the retention rate. But in turn, that actually can just ruin an edit and hurt your retention rate. I showed a really good friend of mine a clip from my stream, and he said it was so funny that I should turn it into a TikTok. So I did. I edited it down, added effects, zooms, everything, and sent it off to him again. And he said, yeah, mate, that's actually shit. Ditch all the edits, just play the clip. It was funnier as is. And, well, my ego was hurt, but I learned a lesson. The reality is, subtle editing that supports the core content and is aimed towards your key demographic rather than distracting from it is much more powerful. And it is the same for streams. If you have a boring streamer with just gimmicks, then hey, at the end of it all, that is just a boring streamer. I will commit to saying that. Look, the most important part of this entire video though is to decide what your core content is and where that stream is going to go afterwards. Personally, I feel like every creator should be heavily considering how they can take their stream and turn it into content on other platforms like YouTube, TikTok, etc. But if you're someone like Bajo and have an amazing stream with thousands of alerts, interactions, and so much more, then most likely it won't be easy to edit that into a video. In fact, I would say that the more gimmicks or potential distractions you add, the harder it is to make a video out of your streams. But Bajo doesn't make YouTube videos, so that isn't a problem for him, and his content is just generally hilarious, and I think he is the best person ever. For example, if you add an overlay midstream with rain and sad music like this, well, the editor can't take that footage and do much with it. But if you just act sad, then the editor can take it and add his own music, his own effects, his own overlay, and because it's all done in post, it'll often look and sound much nicer, making the video experience far better for the viewer. Or like I said earlier, if you're in the middle of an epic boss fight or you've done nothing but beat Elden Ring using only a banana as a controller for months, and that alert plays adding sirens or someone spends 5,000 channel points to punch the screen or activate math over the top of it, that's your footage. It is locked in. It completely ruins the climax of your video. How are you supposed to edit around someone punching your screen or playing music when it's burnt into the edit? If you look at creators like Smallant, Pointcrow, or Ludwig, or anyone else who records videos while live essentially, or who essentially just edit their streams down into videos, you'll see that often the best thing you can do is just focus on making the core content, the stream, and the premise of that stream, which will be a video, as entertaining as it can be. Because in 60 days, that VOD will expire from Twitch, but a video or TikTok, that will never expire. Imagine being an artist, and every painting you make explodes after 60 days. Gone. There, the Louvre has been leveled, but so is all your art. You wouldn't want that. You want to take all of your art and hang them in a gallery for all of the time, so people can find and see it, right? The gallery is YouTube and TikTok, guys. But look, you don't need to make videos from Twitch streams. You can just make videos or TikToks offline, obviously, and treat streams as a secondary engagement tool, as a way to interact with your audience and just have fun. Just make sure the interaction you've added doesn't hurt your stream. That's all this video is. Speaking of mistakes and hurting your stream, I've made a lot of them and learned from them. Why not click this video right here where I talk about 3 common mistakes small streamers are still making. Guys, there's no excuse in 2023. I'll see you next week. Bye.